How Omar is the backstory of this film is a very interesting one. We don't have a lot of American movies with three-time Academy Award winners based on Argentinian plays.
Yeah, probably the first.
This might be the first. Yes.
Yes. Well, this was written originally for a theater by Oscar Martinez and adapted for the screen by my son, Damian Romay, who did a wonderful adaptation of it. And this is the film now.
And I think I've been pronouncing your name wrong. Romay is how we'd say your last
Well,
name.
Spanish.
Well, I speak a little Spanish, so I should do better. So, do you work often with your son? I know the answer to this, but I mean, that's pretty wonderful to have a producer directing, and your son wrote it, also adapted it, and he directed it.
He directed too. Yeah, it is a wonderful opportunity I mean, just to work with your son is always wonderful. There are always challenges, but as in any father-son relationship or mother-daughter relationship, it is good to have the challenge rather than having him or her apart and not being to enjoy or learn from each other through experience.
I wish there was somebody here I could talk to about mother-daughter relationships. So, it's impossible, knowing your history, Diane, to watch this film and not think about and imagine how your relationship with Laura Dern, your daughter, influenced you as you played this part. It had to, yeah?
Well, of course it did in many ways. I'm very fortunate to have a great daughter who's also a great human being. I'm very blessed by God. And she and I have worked together several times, and I love working with her. And I loved this wonderful cast. Mary Stuart Masterson played my daughter, and Sam Robards played my son, and Andrew McCarthy played the ex-husband. All magical actors, and the young girl played the granddaughter. But I had worked previously with Mary's daddy in New York. I had worked with, he directed me and Bob De Niro 40 years ago off Broadway. And I had worked with Andrew in a TV series with Bruce Davidson. And I had worked with Sam's father, the great Jason Robards, twice. So when this script came up and I read it, Damien wrote the last third of the film. He added that to the two plays. Maybe you'd like to talk about how the play ended.
Play ends very differently.
Yeah, well, the play originally was, there were scenes in which the Victoria character was talking to the audience and explaining what was going on her life with the family. And then there were these scenes in which, especially the hospital scene, which is a long scene, 2 or 3 scenes in the hospital, 4 things in the hospital. Then at the end, Victoria comes to the stage and talks to the audience and explains what happened with the mother, what happened with her daughter. But the whole third act was created by Damien. The value of what he added and what got Diane to do it was the fact that we have a situation here that most parents and children have between them, which is when is the father going to say, I'm sorry for the mistakes I've done? And most of the parents, I would say 95% of the parents, don't have that opportunity in life to do it with a son or a daughter. So this opportunity that the play or the movie does is that it shows that how important, how transcendent is the fact that when a father or a mother says I'm sorry for whatever the son or the daughter had in her mind or his mind about the things that went wrong on their relationship.
And that reconciliation, that's what drew you.
Well, also what drew me to the film is that, like Spielberg's Fableman, our film, which is touching people a great deal, people are calling up and talking about it, is that there's no violence in this film. There's no rape, there's no murder, there's no blood. There's no car crash, a plane crash. It's about people. In the old days, Gregory Peck and Glenda Jackson, Emma Thompson, they made a lot of movies like this. But lately there's so much violence in so many films. And I love this people picture about our problems as human beings, the unresolved part of the past, which is not over, which stays with us and haunts us in the present and affects our future. So that's what I like to, as an actor, to show. My job, whether you're saint or sinner, is to show the human family in all of its aspects so that we understand ourselves and each other a little bit better and easier to solve the problems today that we're facing or in our country. And as artists today, I'm concerned about the future artist.
Did you think about having a couple of helicopters collide in the movie? Because I think that would have really helped. I sensed. I imagine that as the folks here tonight and other people who see the film, certainly of my generation and even a little bit younger, they're going to have this subtext going on as they watch the movie. I mean, you're Diane Ladd, and you're the relationship you have with your daughter is known, and it's lovely to see, especially among people who've succeeded, that there's a real intense closeness. So you have that, and then you have this other thing of like, oh my God, that's Mary Stuart Masterson and Andrew McCarthy, right? And they look at that, they did get married, right? And in my imagination, of course, I was like, they must have done 3 or 4 movies together, but it turns out it's just one, right? But they were like circling each other throughout the 1980s.
And there is a connection there. When they are together in the screen, they know each other well, and
we feel like we know their history.
Right. Yeah. So I think work for the audience that enjoy the movies that they made before together, but also for the ones that didn't saw those movies, the issue that you see the connection immediately as soon as they are together in the screen.
Yeah, Heaven Help Us was the one movie they made together. I really was sure they were in 3 or 4 together.
And I think Mary does some of her finest work in this film. It was her father, Pete Masterson, that I worked with years ago. And I think all the actors really met the challenges head on that they faced in the characterization. Another reason that I wanted to do this film is to me, culture is very important. I just feel there's a saying that any country who loses its culture, history has proven you lose the country. And I just feel we're in a time right now where we really need to promote culture, and we need to promote independent filmmaking, where people, for less money, have more time, literally, to do the work they want to do. By the way, my daughter Laura Dern and I have written a book called Honey Baby Mine, and it's about talking to each other. It's about communicating. It's as much for fathers and sons as it is for mothers and daughters. It'll be out Mother's Day. But Honey Baby Mine is, in essence, what made me really want to do this film, because I had almost died 4 years ago. And taking walks, the doctor told Laura I'd be dead in 6 months from being sprayed by poison chemicals, 10 poison pesticide chemicals. And I didn't die. Instead, I did 2 movies, a TV series, and wrote a book. But when this script then came to me, I was so pleased at the communication and the problems between people. So many kids never get to, their parents lie to them. They don't tell the truth because they want to be loved and adored. So you don't tell your kid everything. And then the parents lie, and then the kids lie because they want to be loved and adored. And then when the parents die, it's like, why didn't I talk to Dad about that? Why didn't I ask my mother that? It's too late. So this picture, you see 2 people because, again, she had a stroke and almost died, that you break through. Does it take that kind of thing? Yes, sometimes it does, to make us be so honest and be so vulnerable. So I felt all of that really was in this beautiful script, and I was privileged to be allowed to do this film.
Can I ask you, were there things that when you had your experience 4 years ago, were there things that you ended up saying to Laura that you hadn't said to her? I get the feeling you guys say a lot.
Yeah, in fact, that she got me a place near the beach, and we started walking every day to help make my lungs stronger. And we started, because she thought I was going to die, she told me everything. because I thought I was going to die. I told her everything. So she started recording it. So we took the recordings. The agent said, "You've got a book there." And we thought, oh, God. But they had 5 publishing houses fight for it. So, yeah, we do talk a lot, very honestly.
Do you and your son, you've made movies in Argentina, you've been very successful in Spain, right, as well?
Argentina. Some of the telenovelas that I produced were sold all over the world. So mostly the country where I hit the biggest success other than Argentina was Italy.
And what's your, this is a different beast. And I might be, is it worth pursuing here?
Yes. I came to study film in the U.S., in Los Angeles in 1983. And in 1987, after graduation, I decided to go back to Argentina because I thought I would not be able to produce anything in the U.S. So I went to Argentina to produce telenovelas for like 5, 6 years after that. And then my son, when he gets time for him to go to college, he decided to come back to LA and study at USC, then finish his master's degree on screenwriting. And so we moved to Miami, opened a television station, local television station for the Cuban population in Miami. And when that process finished, then Damian started to do his own movies. I started to help him out. And we produced 4 together, but he has produced and directed almost 30 in the last 6 or 7 years. But most of the movies that he has done were for cable companies, for Lifetime, Hallmark, that kind of thing. And I always, as Diane was saying, you want your son to get to his potential. And I thought, okay, you can make perfect living with movies to cable, but you are never going to see your movies on a theater. So this book was the opportunity that I thought was, if I don't give to him that opportunity, who is going to give him that opportunity?
Well, you two seem like the perfect people to make a movie about parents and their children. Diane Ladd, Omar, Romay, thank you to both of you guys. Thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate it. Please,
Thank you, guys.
if you liked the film, and I know you did, please tell your friends. Thank you very much.